greatest form of control is where you think you're free when you're being fundamentally manipulated and dictated to. One form of dictatorship is being in a prison cell and you can see the bars and touch it. The other one is sitting in a prison cell but you can't see the bar, you think you're free. What the human race is suffering from is mass hypnosis. We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers. We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me, V, on the Red Pill Hardcore. And today, I have to do what I can to make this a very interesting, compelling show. Not because I don't have uninteresting material, but hey, I'm new to this. This is my first show. So I guess I have to get right to it because a little short on time today. So on Skype, I have with me Harrison Kerr, who is an engineer and I guess a consultant. No, not just a TI. Most of the people on my show are giving me TIs, but just to give out those stats. Did I say that right, Harrison?
Yes, sir. I'd say so.
Okay. Well, you are a TI, and
yes.
I would, if you could just tell my audience more about you, more than just being a TI, please do.
Okay. As a targeted individual, you never necessarily know exactly when your targeting started. You really only know when it gets very noticeable. At one point in your life, you're just like, no, I'm being watched, and this is actually really not cool. And, you spend a little bit of time just like, okay, you know what? I'm certain that this will pass because, that old phrase, if you have nothing to hide, then there's no problem with them watch, the freaking NSA alma mater. So, and then, you start to come to the realization that, this isn't leaving. This isn't going away. This is basically here to stay. And what's really stopping them from just setting themselves up in my life indefinitely? And, you go through it and you try to think of ways that, you can get around it, get out of it, fight it, because the confrontational nature of the entire process is just a complete 180 degrees of who you are as a person, and it's basically unique to every TI. That's basically the entire point that I've really deduced from everything, is that whatever you are, they don't want you to be. Or they want your qualities, but they don't want any of you. They don't want you as a person. They want your ability to sing or your ability to lift weights or your ability to whatever. So,
yes.
It becomes as a targeted individual, your battle really becomes a battle to keep your individuality. And, it's difficult every day, but you really have to learn it. You really become a survivalist after a lot of extended periods of time in this kind of predicament.
Absolutely. I can speak on my experience as a TI. They definitely just want to use people. They think people are interchangeable cogs in the system. One should be form-fitting and just be molded to the use of someone else who doesn't deserve even a second of our time or consideration, for that matter.
Right.
And so, where has this taken you? Because you've done some very interesting work being a TI.
My research has taken me a lot of different directions. beginning of when my targeting became very heavy and very noticeable was after two endeavors that I undertook. One was speaking out for political prisoner and former Black Panther head Mumia Abu-Jamal, who was not receiving adequate health care and services while he was incarcerated. And the next would be my research on feminization and the countering of the process. And during my research of this, and when it started to come to some conclusive evidence, was when my targeting really became severe. Where this brought me was I had to do studies in psychology, I had to do studies in theology, I had to do studies in physics, science, biology. My studies have really taken me in a lot of different directions, as the uncertainty of the entire victimization of being a targeted individual, it can really go in any direction. So you have to set up a radius, almost like a police officer would do in trying to catch the culprit.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're definitely kindred spirits, because, I've had to go through all those studies myself. Even to the point of locking myself in my room, so I figured out what was going on with myself.
Yeah.
For weeks at a time. So, I want to commend you for, doing those things. And so, just to gauge, well, thank you. So, just to gauge the level of harassment versus what you've done, can you tell me about the harassment in itself, and does the punishment fit the crime?
The punishment does not fit the crime. There is no crime.
Exactly.
I a lot of times as a theologian have to remind myself that, of many scriptures and passages where you have to suffer for being a righteous individual.
Absolutely.
You get what you get what the wicked deserve a lot of times. And, it's difficult to have to deal with that, because, sooner or later they start being like, oh man, all that goodness that you got, what good does it really do you? And I'd be like, well, I guess that's just something that we're going to have to kick back and wait for, because I definitely have gotten my licks in, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily, from the outside looking in, compare to the 24 hours a day, abuse that, I have to deal with. But aside from that, the punishment, as far as crime and punishment goes, this is not an agent of crime and punishment. This is an agent of advancing agendas through essentially what you could call mind control, through negative reinforcement, and also just worrying, hopelessness, and inducing psychological conditions on the victim by essentially turning their outside world against them. And for those of us who suffer V2K, also have the inside of them fighting against them as well.
Correct. And so you actually have come up with a little bit of I guess you could say a tool, or application that relieves a little bit of this V2K, or technically speaking, synthetic telepathy, the remote neural monitoring from the NSA. You called it a unitool or something like that.
Unineural phase cancellation. It was a concept that I found in some research, not only into my music, as I am also a musician, but also into some schizophrenic health applications and some, anatomical consistencies that I found as far as how the brain functions and it works. Morgellons and, the itching sensations is in the thalamus, which is in the central part of the brain. The voices are a stimulation of the left and right temporal cortexes, which are in the rear of the brain or the back top part of the brain. And in looking into this, I found that naturally it's connected to the eardrum, and whatever is going through the head it has to register as a sound. So essentially what the unioneural phase cancellation does is it targets the central and polar extremes of the brain's capacity to process, and it essentially overloads them to the best of the body's natural ability to physically do so.
Okay,
now,
I've got to until you repeat that last part again. Looks like the electronic harassment is starting already.
I could dig.
Okay, so it essentially does what?
It essentially overrides the brain's capacity to process the external stimuli coming in through the V2K by stimulating the polar extremes and the central extreme of the brain's capacity to process sounds. What they do, it doesn't really target the V2K at all. This is more like a treatment, or a sanopractic treatment, which is a treatment without medication.
Okay.
It basically just muffles the sound. And in some cases, it can even potentially drown it out.
And, and a lot of target individuals' experiences with the synthetic telepathy or the V2K, right. They experience, let's say they are listening to music or something, or they just happen to go into a louder environment for whatever reason. The synthetic telepathy gets louder. The voices get louder just to try to mask over it. Have you had that experience with any of this?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I have. And the way that the frequency counters it is by please take the 30 seconds of silence at the beginning of the video to start at 50% and progressively work your way up. Because, first of all, this sound is just deafening. It's almost like a pipe organ mixed with nails on a chalkboard, mixed with, a subwoofer. So
you really done some experimentation.
Oh yeah, I have. And I have other frequencies too meant to target other human resonant frequencies.
Okay.
The one that I have right out now is to target the central between alpha and beta, which would be at a 23 hertz. Everything else, some of them are full bass, some of them are full high. I think that it really is, just as the V2K is unique to every person, so too is a frequency that would be capable of canceling it out. Because your V2K and the synthetic telepathy is going to, I think, be correspondent with your resonant frequency as a human being. Right.
Because we all have our own unique fingerprint within the quantum spectrum, the EMF spectrum. So, okay. So are you attempting to get this tool out to people? I mean, how are you getting this out there? Are you testing this with other target individuals?
As a matter of fact, I have gotten a lot of feedback from targeted individuals. Some individuals say they just can't take the sound. Some individuals it doesn't work for. Other individuals have actually reported that, this helps, and that even after taking it out, they have a period of time afterward where it almost sounds like they're underwater, which, is essentially not the pinnacle of the desired result, which would be to cancel out the frequency entirely,
Right.
but, to give you some relief of it there.
And that's what it's all about. So, how are you distributing this tool, this audio
It's
frequency?
totally free. Honestly, it's totally free. I, as an individual, couldn't really, in good conscience, charge someone for essentially what's like a contemporary version of medicine for a condition that's inflicted on them. My current means of distributing it would be through my YouTube channel. I recommend Media Human in downloading any kind of YouTube to MP3, but I also do intend to get a SoundCloud, a Mixcloud, and perhaps even a Bandcamp, even though I'm not quite sure I fit the criteria for it. But, getting as much distribution and, getting it free that, this is something that is going to hold you over until you get to something that will be a permanent solution. And I want you to have it for free. Because whether you have to save up money or whether you have to build something yourself, you deserve your thought. You deserve your sovereignty, and that's just a basic God-given right that every human individual has.
Agreed. And so, are there any developmental stages that this needs to go through that you plan on doing yourself? Or is this a project to be taken, to some other experts? Or are you gonna, I don't know, outsource some efforts?
It would be lovely if I could have support, if I could have trust, if I could have any of these things that, I've really had to deem luxuries that the populace gets that I don't get.
Mm-hmm.
But this is probably something that I'm going to have to handle myself and probably have to go over many a time and look through many a time to until I'm at the point where I can feel comfortable. Because as a victim of V2K, there are thoughts that are implanted that aren't my thoughts. I'm almost physically incapable of trusting.
Understandable.
It's difficult that, I can go to my brother's house and, little voice in my back of the head and like, oh, he's trying to fuck you over. He's trying to mess you over, and he's trying to double cross you and two-time you and double deal and hit you with the underhand and all that other stuff.
And isn't it just really just underhanded and really low? Because the criminal element that we are dealing with, I mean, this is the lowest denominator of human beings, if you can call them that. And so these people want to work on your insecurities or any doubts, and they hammer on them.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing to me that, like the NSA using this stuff. Originally it was the CIA mind network, I believe, but for the general population, it's the
Right.
NSA doing this crime, as far as my research has led me. I mean, there are documents. Consultant Will Filler put out the NSA mind control site manual. Anyone can download this, actually, or read it online. But I digress. These lowlives are just play on, it's they don't have anything of their own that they can even put out there, and it's just working on your own script. They make you write your own script. And so with these things, how they affected your interpersonal relationships? I mean, does your family accept that you are a target individual? Do they know?
My family they're what I would call a Smith. You know, anyone who's seen The Matrix knows Smith drives his hand into your chest.
Yes.
Gives your heart a good squeeze and you know, they turn.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it. They all turn in different ways. They all try to do what they can for me. But when you try and play both sides, you wind up losing everything. And
that's very well put.
That's all that there really is to it. I know that there was struggle involved. I know that it hurt him. I know that it cut him. Mm-hmm. But, you know, everyone else has other things to worry about. Everyone else didn't have the luxury of getting hit while they were young. Getting hit before they had something to lose.
Mm-hmm. So how long has this struggle been for you?
It's actually pushing on 2 years come this July. And my research, it's actually almost astonishing to me how far my research has brought me in those 2 years. Things that I've left behind, things that I've picked up, habits, tendencies. You know, honestly, I think of where I could be versus where I am right now. And it's actually a little bit frustrating that I could really be on top of the world, but I'm here fighting the bottom feeders.
Right.
So, and you know what? I think that's my calling or my destiny, that, you know, I have to give you and your kids a shot by fighting.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, you clearly don't understand what that means. That the application of this design or this device is A, entirely malicious, and B, also probably going to be designed for use on the public. And the only way to prevent that is to demonstrate that there will be an uprising because of it. That should this go public, should this target the general populace, that they're not going to stand for it. And that's essentially what I've seen in dealing with the targeted individual community. You go to groups, you go to videos, individuals all over the world are fighting this. But,
well, you know, I believe I have 5 minutes left in the show. If you were to actually be able to educate people on what's going on in 2 minutes, I mean, what would be your best advice for people going through this?
My best advice is stay meek, be quiet but strong, because you never know what triggers you're targeting. Mm-hmm. You don't know who, what, when, where, why, or how. It just happened. Mm-hmm. You know, you gotta try to put your mind over the matter. You have to study. You have to refine your mind. You have to you have to develop new strengths, new talents. Like I told you before the show, resources versus resourcefulness. Resourcefulness is going to win every time. If you have MacGyver with a straw and a paperclip versus Superman, MacGyver will make kryptonite, and he will break Superman down.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would like to really thank you for being a guest on my TV show. It was a shame I couldn't get you on my radio show, but hey, you know, this is how these things go with the electronic harassment. It really goes to show you that those of us that are in this mess are having to be resourceful, and for those of us who actually make a bit of a difference, and, you know, they do their best to keep us far apart as well. So it's time that we reverse that and completely just take over the game. I hope that we
man.
can do that someday.
Yeah, as do I.
Okay. Well, again, thank you very much, and I look forward to maybe having you on again one day.
Sounds lovely.
All right. Thank you.
We be rolling with the 144 to keep it live, but not the first light of the morning. And you don't quit, and you don't stop. Yo, I devour these cowards like 0 hour meeting your showers, eat your scrolls that turn your stomach sour. Jeez, I'm trying to sleep, why don't you scream a little louder? You wouldn't wake up when I was on the watchtower. See, I'm right around with a higher power. Out the bows, at the jobs, to the farthest corners being scoured. Say a prayer for the casualties accounting. 1-871-85000. Soaring on the eagle wing, praise to the highest God. Ain't no getting money snap. I mean, why would y'all even try to put the P80s up in the China shop? Couldn't bottle the shock in the jaw, made a diamond rock. See, these derelicts can't get with my etiquette. Fighting heretics is just part of my heritage. I'm having sick kid. Was you expecting some leverage? If you doing it right, it's Herculean and we be rolling with the 144 to keep it live, but not the first light of the morning. We be rolling with the 144 to keep it live, but not the first light of the morning. Hall banger coming with that raw stinger. Sipping tall, drinking told your soul at the dawn of God's kingdom. Blessed above all things, revolving in your degenerate's comfort zone. You are not evolving. My people worth their salt, we are not dissolving. Singing precepts and laws like a salt swing. That slaughter fools with the immortal truth. Spirit rich, so peace is affordable. Make it rain, make it stop. Can I get a witness to make it hot, make it sick, make it drop. In 3 days, catch the brother on the block. The dog is best to show. That's Talanoa, record holder of these games. The telephone, Hebrew, recluse. Have them looking like necrosis. The King David slanging these smoke stones. We be rolling with the 144 to keep it live, but not the first light of the morning. We be rolling with the 144 to keep it live, but not the first light of the morning. And you don't quit, and you don't stop. Coming at me, yo, these cats what you know. Keep the battery charged, cause you might have to be the battery charged. They ain't even prepping the stand like it ain't matter at all. Divine is the bad shit, beat the rap in the mo. Then I beat the game, watching the credits roll. So I can go down the list and give me my debtors dough. Exercising like merry-go, march around like a merry-go and Jericho to out of the level low. Terraform, flipping the tempo like a metronome. These corny thugs, yeah, like a metronome. Say it with your chest like Kevin Hart on Respirado. Nail dogs tricking like kids to get a silver bow. Procreated with a head full, Stephen can't be lukewarm, so I'm straight in shaking, cooking no apron. Got a couple stains, but been determined with the detergent to get clean. We be rolling with the 144 to keep it live, but not the first light of the morning. We be rolling with the 144 to keep it live, but not the first light of the morning. And you don't quit, and you don't stop.
I am V from the Red Pill Hardcore radio show and TV show. I'm here to tell you guys about my militia, the Red Pill Militia of Minnesota. The militia is there to protect the people of the United States from any enemy that may threaten our way of life, regardless of religion or political stance. We will unite the people as one to fight tyranny of any form from anywhere, including our own government. We will see the people free again. I hope you would like to join my militia. Please visit our Facebook page, The People's Red Pill Militia. Like, comment, let us know in general what you think. And if you want to be a volunteer, all you have to do is coordinate with our members. We're all honorary brothers of the militia because we all protect our freedoms, our constitutional rights, and the most important things that we have as American citizens. So please help me in protecting those rights and join my militia.
Greetings, citizens of the world. We are anonymous. It is no surprise that the mainstream media does not often like to mention us, and when they do, we are always made out to be an extremist, or even terrorist organization. In truth, we are just people. We are brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers. We are young and old alike. We come from every walk of life and every corner of the world. We are just people. Yet, through all of our diversity, we have found common ground. We stand united as one and divided by zero. The Red Pill Hardcore exposes the truth with the answers. Have you ever been followed home at night by a bright star? UAV drone. Have you ever felt like you are being watched? Energy spectrum surveillance. Have you ever heard a buzz in your brain and ringing in your ear? Satellite EEG brain entrainment. Have you ever felt like someone is reading your thoughts? Remote neural monitoring. Have you ever heard voices in your head that were not your own? Voice to skull. Have you ever heard these voices repeat themselves unending? Synthetic audio harassment. Known someone driven mad by the voices till they killed people? CIA, NSA on-shelf shooters. Then, like Aaron Alexis and Myron May, you are a targeted individual, government mind control victim. War is coming. To learn more, listen to the Red Pill Hardcore. The corrupt have chosen to make an enemy of humanity, and if it is an enemy they want, then so be it. An enemy they shall have. To those who place the value of $1 above the value of a life, to those who would think they are above justice. We are everywhere, and we are watching. We are legion. We are one. Expect us.